Uh, Good afternoon, friends. Today we will discuss about the suspension systems used in a vehicular application. So, in front of you, uh, wishbone type of suspension normally used in a passenger car, or it may be called as a arm suspension system. So let us take an overview of a wishbone type of suspension system. Why it is called as wishbone? Because the shape of the major component that is called as a arm or wishbone is just like a wishbone, which is uh, very much popular in chicken food. So let us take a look of this. So here the similar, if you observe the symmetry, both ends having the similar type of structure. So this is the rigid structure of frame of a vehicle, and here the particular wishbone type of suspension is placed. This is upper arm, this is lower arm, and those are connected to this particular drum disc. So this is your damper or shock absorber. This is the lower arm where the damper is connected, and this is connected to stub axle. This blue color is nothing but a stub axle. And if you see the upper arm is connected to the rigid structure of a frame. Here, this blue color is nothing but the stub axle. This particular lower arm is connected to the frame rigidly to restrict the movement, excessive movement. Another side, the similar structure, this damper or what we commonly knows as a shock absorber, fixed to the upper end to the rigid frame member, lower arm and upper arm, and just like similar, we can see here those are connected to the frame. So if you see the construction in a such way that when they move in upward or lower direction, the movement will give suspensive movement to the vehicle and dampen out the vibration. So this is something related to the wishbone type of suspension used in case of passenger car. Now in front of you, the wishbone type of suspension or ARM type of suspension, which is used for a SUV, that is sport utility vehicle. What we nowadays used a lot. So if you see the structural difference, some sort of heavy structure is used. The upper arm is also some sort of heavier and lower arm. If you see in previous setup, or what we say that model, the spring was upset, but spring is used. Here you can see the spring is just around the damper. So let us take a look of the suspension. If you see the upper arm is shown here, then the damper, heavy spring, and the lower arm. If you observe in case of earlier model, the lower arm is only one single rod, but here the lower arm is the similar A type of arm. So in case of SUV, both means upper and lower arms are of similar shape and size. But in case of passenger car, it may be a different case. So keep in mind this particular. So you can see the rigid structure at the end. Even those are connected rigidly to the frame members. You can observe here some sort of holes. And this is the stub axle in blue color. A spring, a heavy spring in between the damper is there, and which is directly fixed to the upper part to the frame. And here the cut section of the drum. So here the rear side is shown, rear side suspension is shown. Even you can observe this particular suspension is fixed to the frame with a rod, you can observe here. So this will control the excessive movement. It may be up and down, or it may be in left or right movement, that can be controlled, because if the excessive movement will be there, then the suspension will make a problem to the control of vehicle. So you can observe here the rigid construction and this arms. You can see how the arms are connected to the upper arm. So that's why it is called as A arm. The shape is like A arm or wishbone. So this is something related to the wishbone, which is used in case of SUV. Now we will see about the suspension used in case of modern hatchback cars or sedan vehicles. That is MacPherson type of suspension. So MacPherson is the name of scientist, and here is a model, a prototype model of the MacPherson type of suspension in front of you. So let us take a view of that. So you can observe this MacPherson type of suspension, or this particular element of the suspension system is called as strut, and this strut is connected to stub axle, this blue color stub axle on one end, and other end is directly mounted with that particular damper having a spring over it, and the other end of that damper, or what we say that strut, is connected to the uh, frame member or the body member with the help of one bearing, so that the rotational movement can be achieved. And if you see the space in which it is fixed, or the simplicity of this particular suspension, that's why it is very popular. It's not bulky as in case of a wishbone type of suspension. So you can see a cut section of the damper. Let us go by one. So this is the spring in which the damper, you can observe a cut section of that. So here a piston is inside of that. This is the rod, what we say that piston cylinder arrangement, you can see, observe here. So this is twin tube type of damper. You can observe this is the inner tube in which the piston and rod can be moved, and this is the outer tube which is in black color. So this is twin tube type of suspension. We have learned in this how this operates in a theory part. So let us go to the lower side of the suspension. So here, this is the strut which is rigidly bolted, fixed to the one arm of the stub axle. This is the arm of stub axle, and this stub axle is integrated nowadays. It is not a purely stub axle as a separate part. It is integrated part of even the braking system, and even the steering arm, and even the suspension arm. So this is integrated one, you can observe here. So if you see here, it is a simple and very uh, what we said that easy suspension system. Due to that, if you observe here on the other side of the this particular system, then you can observe that the space required to fix this particular suspension system is very less. That's why in passenger cars where the space is required for other engine systems, it can be easily accommodated there. And with vertical movement, it accommodate even the larger scope for the up and down motion of the wheel. Hence, it is very popular in case of passenger car. Now let us take a look of rear end coil spring suspension if it is used for heavy vehicle. So in case of heavy vehicle, some goods carrying vehicle having coil spring type of suspension at the rear side. For example, your Tata S, which is a medium size good carrying vehicle, normally used in India. So that particular vehicle has a rear side coil spring type of suspension. So how the structure is there? So you can observe there. This is the suspension what we observe normally. So here the what we say that a simple frame member where the suspension spring is fixed, and these are the arms. These suspension arms are connected to one rod which is in between the uh, rigid or robust member of a frame. Hence, those are rigidly connected or fixed to the frame member. Hence, the movement is limited, but as compared to the leaf spring, it gives a better suspension performance. So you can observe here, these particular arms are connected. Now here it is very clear. This is suspension, coil spring type of suspension here. A strut-like structure, damper over that mounted spring is there, and this is connected to one arm which is connected in right angle to the wheel, and this arm is connected to frame. So whenever there is a suspension movement or up and down movement, it easily accommodates. So this particular rigid connection control the excessive movement of the suspension. So in this way, you can observe here how the suspension at the rear side. So these are the fixing members here. Now you can get a closer look of the suspension system, how it is fixed to one end. It is some sort of bush-like structure, and even at the back side. Now this is the, now see how those are connected at the frame member. Even this is more clear from this side. So in this way, this particular suspension systems are used at the rear side of the vehicle. So this is enough for suspension system of uh, vehicular application.